ready to go for a Super Sunday in the Porsche Carrera Cup Asia here at the picturesque Mandalika International Circuit. Yesterday, in the first race of the weekend, Dylan Pereira's streak of 8 victories in a row came to an end as the debutant Marcus Amand held on to convert pole to victories. 2 races on Super Sunday. First, another 17-lap sprint before later today, the second and final endurance race of the season as we crown our Endurance Cup champions. Hi folks, our Junior Kanki Party back in the broadcast booth and ready for this 30-minute sprint race or 17 laps, whichever comes first. And we saw some tension towards the end of the opening race yesterday, with traffic for your race leaders being a factor. Let's take in some of the atmosphere, head down to Sammy and to Steve.
欢迎大家再次回到马达利国际赛车道，观看亚洲豹世界凯雷拉杯2025年赛季第11回合的赛事直播。Welcome back to Mandalika International Circuit for Round 11 of Porsche Carrera Cup Asia 2025 season. Let's hear from our pit reporter Steve Dawson on what we can expect for today's race.
Well, first of all, it's another beautiful day in this beautiful venue, and it could be a really beautiful day for Dylan Pereira. He could wrap up the Drivers' Championship today. He may even do it in this first race. The only man conceivably who can stop him is Enzo Trulli. Trulli's in P2, Pereira's in P3. On P1 is this phenomenon, Marcos Amand, who won the race yesterday from pole. So clearly a lot of attention on the front of the grid, but we'll keep you up to date with what's going on elsewhere. Pole position among the Pro-Ams is Bao Jinlong. For the amateurs, it's Eric Kwong, and for the masters, it's Christian Chia. So another Super Days action. This, the first race of 2.
And it's super early in the morning, weather's not so hot. Let's see if our drivers can seize this advantage. Now let's take a look at the highlights from yesterday's race.
Thanks Sammy, thanks Steve. Here's a look at what happened off the line. A great launch for Josh Rowledge further behind in the Team WeTrade PGR machine. Similarly for Rodrigo Diaz-Almeida, and so squeezed to the inside on a couple of occasions, but up front Marcus Amand converts his pole position to the lead of the race with Enzo Trulli and Dylan Pereira slotting in behind. There was some decent action at the front of the AM Championship class in particular, but it was really one that was characterized by some mistakes here and there. Henry Kwong, Eric Kwong, they fought a little bit. So did Josh Rowledge and Rodrigo Diaz-Almeida as they ran off the track, and there was the moment that did see, unfortunately, the spin for at-the-time leader Henry Kwong. Roy Tang made some moves after starting at the back on his debut in the championship. Bao Jinlong ran off the track a few too many times and incurred a time penalty for track limits violations. And unfortunately, Yen Truong's hopes of a potential first race victory in the Porsche Carrera Cup Asia were not to be. But look how close the 3 were at the front of the field. Amand from Trulli, from Pereira, and Oscar Target close in pursuit as well. And so a great look at the drone shots here in the morning at the Mandalika International Circuit. Expecting that the temperature is going to definitely get warmer as we work our way into that afternoon's race, which is going to be slightly longer. So back down though, catch up with Sammy, see who she's found on the grid.
Now joining me on the track, we have 2 VIPs. One is the Senior General Manager from Porsche Indonesia, Mr. Alexander Riedel. And on my right is the Senior Manager for One Mix Series from Porsche Motorsports Asia Pacific, Ms. Boyachi. I'll start with Mr. Alex first. So Alex, this is the first time Mandalika hosts 2 Porsche One Mix Series, the PSCI and PCCA. What does this combined event mean for Porsche Indonesia?
Yes, so we're very excited to be hosting the Porsche Sprint Challenge Indonesia along with the Porsche Carrera Cup Asia here at the Mandalika International Circuit. So this really shows our commitment to providing really a platform for regional one-make racing here in Indonesia. So this elaborates really an exciting opportunity for fans, drivers, partners to really experience here this weekend what Porsche Motorsport means with its heritage, the lifestyle, the culture, and of course the performance.
And how important is it for Porsche to promote local motorsports culture in this region?
Yes, so Porsche's core DNA motorsport is very closely linked. So this is something what is at the core of our DNA. So to extend this to local motorsport communities and racing events like this, it's just a natural extension, and we therefore really focus on providing these events and environment for the racing community to really celebrate here in Mandalika this weekend.
Thank you very much, Alex. Now, Boya, building on what Alex had highlighted, what is the most impactful ways for Porsche to grow and strengthen motorsports in the Asia-Pacific region?
I think within Asia Pacific we have so much good resources, and this always requires motorsport and markets to work together. For those who follow us on social media and also live stream, you might be familiar with our Porsche Motorsport Asia Pacific Pyramid, which is a path for drivers to start their racing career step by step with Motorsport Asia Pacific. We now have in the region actually Porsche experience centers not only in Shanghai but in Tokyo, and we have another one in Singapore opening very soon in 2027. And then we have various driving experience on different driving conditions developed by Porsche experience from different markets as well. I also heard Alex told me that they will also have a club driving club community have attracted here soon in November. And then of course the next step will be one mix series like Sprint Challenge Indonesia and also Carrera Asia this weekend.
There's so much support that we see, and we are almost approaching 2026 this season. So any expectations?
Well, before we come to 2026, I think let's not forget we still have one finale to go, which is Singapore Grand Prix. Together with Singapore Grand Prix, we are always happy to be under the Formula 1 stage, and it's going to be an exciting finale, and also we will host our Night of Champions there as well. For 2026, we just announced our calendar yesterday, 2 days ago. I think it's a very interesting calendar, very attractive, starting with Chinese Grand Prix and finishing with Singapore Grand Prix as well. We also have racetracks like Fuji in Japan, which we haven't been since 2019. So very much look forward. And let's not forget the most important thing is we will be one of the markets to welcome our new car 911 Cup next year.
Definitely sounds exciting. Thank you so much to both of you. Let's enjoy the race together. Gonna throw it back to the commentators.
Lots to look forward to in 2026, that is for sure. Especially with the brand new Cup car, which is going to bring, I'm sure, lots of excitement. Another great look from up above here at the Mandalika International Circuit. 27 degrees, the air temperature, a 0% chance of rain. That is also great to see. And not much wind coming in from the coast, so relatively steady for the drivers, you'd think. But as always, the more important number is going to be that track temperature, which is provided to us by Michelin, which is on all of our Porsche Cup cars here in the Carrera Cup Asia. 36 degrees Celsius is 12 degrees less than what we had yesterday. 48 was the number for the first race of the weekend, so expect it to get up towards that later on today. Let's go back down to the grid, though, because we've got Steve standing by with Enzo Trulli.
Little update on the grid for you. Enzo Trulli is in P3, Dylan Pereira in P2. So let's have a word with Enzo. Enzo, you're the only man who can theoretically stop Dylan Pereira from winning the title. So what's the attitude, what's the outlook today?
Yeah, for sure. First of all, have a good start, see how he starts. And then let's see. I know the championship's still open, but it's still far away. I have to fight for my championship, so I have to race smart. But for sure, if I have the opportunity, I will pass.
It's a fast track, isn't it? It's got to be a lot of fun to drive, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's really fun. I really like this track. It's tough to overtake, it's tough to follow, but it makes it interesting.
Good luck today.
Thank you.
I love the way that Enzo framed that. He's got to fight his own championship. He can't be thinking about what he needs to do to stop Dylan Pereira. Live in the moment. That's all that you can realistically do at the end of the day. He's going to be starting in third. So he started second in race one, but of course the way this works is you're qualified for the first and second race based on different lap times in the session. You're first fastest and second fastest. So Enzo was about 5 thousandths slower than Dylan Pereira. Let's go back down to the grid, see who Steve's got standing by.
So just to reiterate, Dylan Pereira in P2, Marcos Armand is over there to my left in P1. Let's have a word with Dylan. Dylan, it seemed to me you were a little bit despondent when you got out of the car yesterday. How's the mood today?
Yeah, so we are struggling the full weekend a little bit with the car, so in trying to fix the problem what we have. So basically we have a sister car which is quite fast, so every time we can see on the data there's something not right. So we are trying overnights all the time to work hard. I think also yesterday we left the track at 10 at night and working hard. So now on the outlook the car felt different, let's say. Let's hope that that's already solved. So I think we worked a lot and hopefully that's already the thing. And yeah, I think the most important is to collect points for the championship and hopefully after this race I can be champion.
Yeah, I mean mathematically you could be champion after this race. Is that forefront of your mind or is that you pushing that to the back for now?
Definitely I will try to win. That's why I'm a racy driver. So if I can win, I will try to win for sure. But I would definitely not take the risk because we just need points all the time. And then first of all, we have to secure the championship. That's why we came for this championship. So yeah, just secure the championship first. Be clever. Don't do a mess somehow. And then we will see.
Be safe today.
Thank you.
He can mathematically put himself in a very good position. However, you can never feel confident as a driver until you are at the end of that race. So Dylan Pereira still has to focus towards the 17 laps that lie ahead of him. Marcos Armand does not score championship points. So Pereira, if he finishes second behind that number 9 machine, it would still see him grab the 25 championship points. So just something to keep in mind once we get into the race itself. Steve's going to wander down the grid and catch up with one more of our drivers, and I think this is going to be a conversation that should be quite interesting because the mid-pack was really where all of the action was. The AM class and the Masters class had plenty of excitement, so it will be very interesting to see how they're feeling about this second race, with of course the lower track temperatures and this being the second of the sprint races. Steve standing by with our Masters pole sitter, Christian Chia.
Christian Chia is on pole position for the Masters. Christian, how are we feeling this morning?
Pretty good. I think it's great conditions. The temperature has cooled down quite a bit, but it's going to be a great race.
Yeah, and we've got a long day today. The endurance race is coming up after this one. Physically, in great shape?
I think so. And we'll just take it one at a time.
Drive safely today. Well done.
Thank you so much.
You heard it right there as the thumbs go up. Number 1 in qualifying for his class after a readjustment of the grid in a couple of cases. But here we go. Let's talk championship points, because theoretically, yes, Dylan Pereira can put himself far enough in front of Enzo Trulli. The championship could be his, but Enzo Trulli still thinking about his fight with Hugo Ellis, Toro Racing versus Sime Motors Racing, and Brock Gilchrist and Dylan Yip. Only 15 points splitting the two of them in the hunt for 4th in the championship. And of course, with Brock Gilchrist having missed 2 races after his emergency appendix surgery, he could have been thrust right back up into that fight for 2nd. There's only 2 of our Pro-Am drivers here this weekend, so Bao Jinlong and Francis Chia find themselves locked in battle, not just for securing some good points moving into the final stretch of the season, but also for the Endurance Cup points as well. So we'll touch on that before we get underway, but let's also talk about the AM class, because Moonkong Setien Turukun had been perfect up until he missed the last race of the championship, and so Eric Kwong grabbed the victory and established a bit of a buffer between himself and Henry Kwong. But at least for now, if Moonkong returns for the races at Singapore, he would still be able to wrap up the championship. Christian Chia and Adrian De Silva, 7 points between the two of them, with John Shen and Jackie Wu behind, as we look to crown our very first Masters class champion, but some drivers who have had plenty of experience in the Porsche Carrera Cup Asia. Another great look at the track from up above. Let's dive into our track analysis. 4 and a bit odd kilometers around the 17 turns, and it is a high downforce track given the combination of medium and high speed corners that you do have, while there are a couple of slower speed corners and high traction zones requiring grip from the rear tires. You see your main overtaking spots, turn 1 and turn 10, but that does also mean that turn 8 is one of the trickier spots, setting up the passing opportunity down to 10. It's flat in a GT3 car, but these GT3 Cup cars, stripped of a bit of the downforce, more reliant on mechanical grip, finding themselves feathering the throttle. As they pull away for the formation lap, let's run you down through the starting grid. It's back-to-back pole positions for Marcus Amand, the flying Finn in the Team Better Life number 9. He'll have Dylan Pereira in his quest for the championship alongside, and the Team Shanghai Yonder BWT number 5. The distinctive red machine, the number 99 Toro Racing car, has got Enzo Trilli in 3rd position, and his main rival in the championship in the hunt for 2nd is alongside Hugo Ellis for Sign Motors Racing. Brock Gilchrist lines up 5th for Team Porsche New Zealand in the number 10. He's got Oscar Target, who finished 4th and was hanging with the leaders in the EBM number 76, stepping in for Munkong Seti and Tirukun. Back to row 4 to find Rodrigo Diaz Almeida in the Team Jebsen 55, and Josh Rowledge had a rocket of a launch in race 1 in the Team We Trade PGR number 8. Dylan O'Keefe in the number 77 Toro Racing car. He works his way through the field in the early stages to put himself in contention. He's got Dylan Yip for company, who started at the back in race 1 in the Phantom Global Racing number 6. Baojun Long in the BWT Phantom G Racing number 7. He's 11th. He'll have the pole sitter Eric Kwong alongside him in the Bogart Motorsports 23, while his brother Henry Kwong is back inside of row 7 in the Triple Ace Racing 91. He's got Francis Chia alongside in the Open Road Racing 21. Roy Tang, he really picked up the speed in the 610 Racing entry yesterday. What can he do from 15th position and in front of Christian Chia in the Open Road Racing number 88? John Shen, Medina Motorsports' number 16, is alongside of Jackie Wu in the Porsche-owned Retail 69 machine. And then Adrian Da Silva dropped a couple of positions due to a steward's decision. He's in 19th in the EBM 61. Hubo will be alongside him to complete the top 20 in the 610 Racing number 22. Just Yen Chuang by himself on the final row of the grid. He's got some work to do after the spin on the final lap of race number 1. So the cars filter through the final couple of corners, and we are moments away from getting underway. Remember this, the second and final of the 17-lap sprint races, which is just about on the cusp of about 26 odd minutes. If we do get a safety car for whatever reason, we could find ourselves hitting that 30-minute time limit relatively easily. Final cars streak towards the line and their grid boxes, and we are lined up and ready to go. Cooler track conditions hopefully lead to the heat of battle. Marcus Amand in the Team Better Life number 9, hoping to convert a second pole position to victory in the Porsche Carrera Cup Asia, as the green flag flies at the Mandalika International Circuit at the back of the grid, and the lights build, the Porsche Symphony sings. Away we go. A decent launch from Marcus Amand, not so good from Dylan Pereira, who's challenged by Enzo Trilli towards turn 1. They're banging door handles as they head into the braking zone. Behind them, a great launch from Diaz Almeida. He's up now, rather Hugo Ellis, to hold off the likes of Diaz Almeida. Dylan Pereira has fended off Enzo Trilli as they get onto the brakes in through turns 2, 3 and 4. Alongside for Brock Gilchrist and Oscar Target. Target's there, but the door gets slammed shut. He's back into line. Now sweeping out towards turn 7. And then the feather of the throttle in through 8. Got to be aware of track limits as well. And there's already one car a little bit further behind that found himself cutting onto the inside. Dylan Pereira settles now into the rhythm as Oscar Target goes for a slip and slide through the gravel. Where's that going to drop him into the queue? That big gap has built up as well between, looks like 4th and 5th positions. Now into the final couple of corners of the lap. Got to try and straighten up the braking zone of 15 and 16. And Amand feels the need to cover the inside. We're on for a fight here. Here comes Dylan Pereira. maybe not content to sit in second if he thinks he's got the speed in that Team Shanghai Honda BWT number 5. Behind Josh Rowledge, they've stacked up slightly as well as the first lap of 17 officially complete. 3/10 between Amand and Carrera. Trulli a further 7/10 rather further back, and then Hugo Ellis, Brock Gilchrist and Diaz Almeida the rest of the top 6. Bao Long still in the Pro-Am lead. He's got both Henry Kwong and Eric Kwong between the other Pro-Am machine, Francis Chia. And behind Chia is Christian Chia in the 88, the Masters leader right now. Although Dylan Yip's dropping down the timing screen. Has there been an issue for the Phantom Global Racing machine? The 21-year-old who had a DNF to open up the season, but has settled into a rhythm quite nicely. Yeah, the timing screen doesn't lie. You don't see him on your picture either. So we'll see if we can pick up if there was something maybe as he fought to try and close up to Dylan O'Keefe. And there's a little bit of a tangle between, is that Jackie Wu and Roy Tang? I think it was. Roy Tang was really in the heat of the battle yesterday. Really picked up the speed. And Brock Gilchrist almost picks up the rear end of Hugo Ellis through the penultimate corner. I think these cooler track conditions are definitely helping out some of these drivers to stay closer to the Porsche 911 GT3 Cup car in front of them. Last time at the line, a 1:33.0 for Marcus Amand. Fastest lap from Enzo Trulli, only a 10th quicker. Still showing that he's got the speed back there in that Toro Racing 99. Meanwhile, Adrian De Silva has closed from the tail end of the Masters class to start. Now within a couple of car lengths of Christian Chia. 7 points separate these drivers in the championship right now. Oh, there comes Dylan Yip on his recovery. Trying to find his way past John Shen. A very difficult part of the track to try and make that work. This will be slightly easier. Tucks to the inside of turn 10, highlighted as one of our passing opportunities. Phantom Global Racing machine cuts down the inside. Here's a look at the start again. First phase of the launch, not so great for Dylan Carrera. You can see Enzo Trulli's alongside. Oscar Target got a pretty decent launch. He was then to the inside of Brock Gilchrist. That's where their battle really started. Big send around the outside from Henry Kwong. That's how he held on to the lead in class as well. Although having said that, his brother Eric has now retaken the lead of that class. They have been shuffling a little bit in the last couple of laps. So Dylan Yip now past the 61 of Adrian De Silva as well. And he's just got the dispatch of Christian Chia before he's got a bit of clean air to look up the road at. Car doesn't look like it's taken any damage, so maybe a self-inflicted mistake as to the inside at turn 2. The Pro machine passes the Masters driver with ease. And already a couple of car links built as he gets onto the power, uses all of that engine that sits behind these drivers, let's not forget. A glorious sound that comes out of the flat 6 motor. As back up front, Dylan Carrera not really pushing the case right now with Marcus Amand. Now this is the debut for Amand in the Porsche Carrera Cup Asia. He is leading the 2025 Porsche Carrera Cup in France. And he actually was, I believe, one of our talent pool assessment drivers at the start of the year. Obviously, the Porsche talent pool, part of the Porsche pyramid that was discussed slightly earlier on, where drivers step up initially from the various sprint challenges that run around the world, both sometimes in GT4 machinery, but often in GT3 Cup cars, both of the modern and vintage era. From there, step up to the Carrera Cup, get that support to maybe go on to compete at the Porsche Shootout. And if you can impress and be the best of your class, there's a chance, of course, to become a Porsche factory driver, the path that so many want to go down. Brock Gilchrist, Rodrigo Diaz-Almeida and Oscar Target all covered by just over a second. Guessing the track temperature will slowly be rising now as well. Oscar Target really was impressive yesterday to stay at the very front with Amand Pereira and Trulli. Finished within a couple of seconds of your race leader. Really closes up to the tail end of Diaz-Almeida in the Team Jebsen 55. And now I think trying to set up the move into turn one. He'll try and duck into the draft and jink down to the inside as they run to the braking zone. Here comes the look. Target sends it and commits, slams the door shut on Diaz-Almeida, trying to cut back underneath, and holds on to that position. There's Josh Rowledge in the Team We Trade PGR number 8, not far behind them. 19-year-old from the UK, who had a great start to yesterday's race, and then dropped back slightly. Wasn't sure if there was maybe a mechanical issue going on. But he has kept himself within touching distance of these drivers, who are now working the 6th lap of the race. Yen Truong passed by Dylan Yip, and Yen Truong's worked his way from 21st up to 14th. As it does appear on our timing screens at the very least that Roy Tang has, or was, in, I thought of going a lap down, but that was just the timing screen waiting to update. So he's dropped to the back of the field, obviously, after his incident with Jackie Wu. But it's still Christian Chia that leads in the Masters class, Eric Kwong that leads in the AM class, and Bao Jin Long, who holds on to the lead in the Pro-Am class. Now, there was so much to talk about, we didn't get to discuss Endurance Cup points. As, Oscar Target is in the pit lane in the EBM 76 and jumping out of the car. That's not great. So clearly some kind of terminal issue. Adrian De Silva looks to the inside through the final corner, but Christian Chia was aware to it. Gave just enough room, but rolled a bit more speed around the outside. In terms of the Endurance Cup points, Christian Chia leads by 1 point over John Shen and a further 9 points back to Adrian De Silva. So, Endurance Cup Championship to be settled between these 4 drivers in class in that final endurance race of the season. Without a shadow of a doubt, it will come down to those final laps and who can endure the sun at that point, when it's baking the track, baking the drivers in the cars as well. About to complete lap 7, and this might be Marcus Amann starting to establish himself on the long run. He was fastest last time by, and within a couple of tenths of a second, a 1:32.721 for him, with only 3 cars into the 132s right now. And guess what? It's the 3 cars at the front of the field, pulling away their advantage. Although Hugo Ellis and Brock Gilchrist did join them last time by with their fastest laps of the race. That's one spot where I'm wondering about track limits. Car 5 has just had its first warning. So Dylan Pereira has been pinged by the sensors that sit on the, I guess, both inside and outside of various points on the track. Bao Long did get a sufficient time penalty that he dropped behind Francis Chia for what ended up being a victory for the 21 yesterday. So these drivers do need to keep that in mind. How technology has come on leaps and bounds. You don't need to have a camera and someone watching it. No, just have a sensor, as easy as you'd like. So Josh Rowledge has closed up to Team Jepson's Diaz Almeida. This is now the fight for 6th position after Oscar Target headed down pit lane. I'm wondering if some of these drivers are just conserving themselves right now, aware that they've got that longer race in the heat of the day coming up. Maybe recognizing that to push 10/10ths at this point might be draining themselves for the second race. Because as much as sometimes, you know, racing drivers will talk about having cool suits and AC systems in some cars, I tell you from experience, on pit lane during endurance races, often you'll talk to a driver and they'll never admit it, but their system's not working to its fullest potential. Sometimes it blows hot air at you, which sounds like it must be very, very tough to endure. And that's where not just physical fitness, but mental toughness somewhat becomes important as well. And the resilience to be able to fight back. Now this is where the race yesterday got interesting, through traffic. I believe that's Roy Tang just in front of Marcus Amann, but yesterday traffic made it interesting because they were locked in their fights, a fight of their own. I don't think Roy Tang's going to hold up your race leader here, and indeed I think he's pulled to the left-hand side of the track and signals the drivers to cycle on through. Heads up driving there. From a driver who is going to be back with us, at least based on a social media post, for the final rounds of the championship on the streets of Marina Bay as the Porsche Carrera Cup Asia rejoins the Formula One community for the Singapore Grand Prix. Of course, our season starts as part of the Formula One Grand Prix here in 2025 and ends as well, so kind of coming full circle. Car 69 has just had a second warning for track limit, so that is Jackie Wu. In fact, that's the third warning if I misspoke. And car 8 has also just been given a second warning. So Josh Rowledge, as Roy Tang decides discretion the better part of valor and pulls off to the left to avoid the rest of the pro machines. There is the team retrade number 8. The thing with track limits is it's so inviting sometimes to run out wide in circuits like this. And so that's why those sensors are so useful. If you give a racing driver an inch, they'll try and take a yard at the end of the day. So drivers are aware of what various series want to see, and we'll often try and drive to that. Now, we have got 7 laps left to go. If drivers have got anything left in the bag, it's time to use it. Enzo Trilli's dropped back slightly from Dylan Pereira at the front of the field, so first and second starting to break away. Dylan Pereira retaking the fastest lap last time by with a 1:32.397. Which, if you want to compare it to a Porsche GT3 car, they came and raced not long ago with the GT World Challenge, and I think my research shows that the track record then for a Porsche GT3 was a 1:28.795, so a couple of seconds off. You can't necessarily always compare directly because track temperatures and stuff will be different. Tires are often different as well, so you can never be 100% sure. But let's not forget, these are really just mini GT3 cars, stripped of a bit of that downforce. No ABS, no traction control. And that's what makes it interesting for some of these AMs. Bao Jinlong is not pulled away from Eric Kwong and Henry Kwong. And so the brothers fighting for second in the championship. First on track right now in class. Doing very well to hold up to a 5-time Porsche Carrera Cup Asia Pro-Am champion. Remember, Dylan Pereira and Bao Jinlong can potentially put themselves beyond the reach of anyone else in the championship. Dylan Pereira can do it in this race. Bao Jinlong's going to have to get it done in the final race of the weekend if he wants some security going into those final 2 races in Singapore. Pereira's closed, by the way. He's within 3 and a bit tenths. So, potentially starting to find a bit more speed late in the day. Meanwhile, Adrian De Silva has moved himself back to the front of the Masters class. He had been leading the championship after the first couple of rounds, but an issue at Sepang that saw him miss the final race of the weekend, the endurance race, and then a somewhat uncharacteristic performance from him on the streets of Bongsen, where he finished 3rd and 4th in class. That was what allowed Christian Chia, with the double victory, to move to the front of the championship. Meanwhile, front of the field, I said keep an eye on Pereira. 3 or 4 car lengths between them as they dive out through the right-hander. Bit more traffic in front of them as a black and white flag for the 69 for track limits infringement. So that doesn't look like a time penalty for Jackie Wu, but that's the final warning. Out through 7, 8, and then sweep back in towards the braking zone of turn 10. This is one of those places where you can think about a move if you're close enough. Turn 1 as well. But really, it might take an element of surprise for Dylan Pereira to unsettle your race leader, who even amidst the uncertainty of the traffic yesterday did the correct thing. Cool under pressure, the flying Finn seems to be. Marcus Amandu comes in not just with that Carrera Cup experience that I was talking about, but has raced in various open wheel championships, Formula 4 and several other high-level open wheel championships. But much like Enzo Trulli, who came over from Super Formula Lights, making that transition from open wheel into sports cars. 4 laps to go. Remember, Dylan Pereira said to Steve Dawson on the grid, he doesn't need to force the issue. And remember that number 9 does not score championship points. And so Dylan Pereira, if he finishes where he is, grabs 25 points, and mathematically might just have the championship wrapped up with the bonus point for the fastest lap as well. I'm going to let the number crunching be done by people that have better calculators than my brain. But Pereira doing exactly what he needs to do. Eric Kwong still holding off Henry Kwong. Holding each other in lockstep right now. Not putting a foot wrong is either driver. A very impressive showing so far here today. Remember yesterday, the AM Class 1, where we had was it 3 different spins from the race lead? So the drivers maybe learning a little bit after a bit of review of the data, maybe making some setup changes, really dialing in the cars. A black and white flag is now converted to a time penalty. Jackie Wu has been given 5 seconds for that track limit usage. Now that's not going to cost him a position because he was already running 4th in the Masters class, but just something to keep in mind. In the slightly longer race that we have to close out the weekend here in the Mandalika International Circuit, drivers are going to have to be a little bit more stringent. Look at the commitment, sending the car in through the right-hander of turn 7. There's Yen Chuang, by the way, who has, along with Hubo, fought their way up to 14th and 15th on track, and not far apart from one another. 4 seconds covers the two of them. Meanwhile, Bao Junlong has pulled a little bit more of a gap on Eric Kwong. So we'll see if that enables this fight to start to build. Is Eric going to be a bit more focused in the mirrors? Is he going to be defensively driving to cover off any potential moves? Sometimes that compromises you. It can cost you speed on exit. Never really in a passing zone in through turn 11 and 12. But it could be a setup into the final corners of the lap. Here comes the look. Snatches the inside front tyre. A slight lock-up there from Henry Kwong, but he pulls alongside. Now into the final sequence of corners. And Eric Kwong doesn't want to cause an issue, as Dylan Pereira's had an issue. Big lock-up from Henry Kwong, now in the lead of the AM class. But where has Dylan Pereira fallen to? There comes Enzo Trulli now in second. Hugo Ellis in third, and Carrera scored in 4th. Now, to the inside of John Shen goes Marcus Amand. Look at the gap behind it. He's now got to Enzo Trulli. Dylan Pereira said that he was fighting the balance of the car yesterday and the team worked hard. Remember, motorsports is not a solo effort. There is an operation behind the scenes that powers Team Shanghai Honda BWT. And they went to work at night until about 10 p.m. is what Dylan said to Steve Dawson. He said the car felt all right on the outlap, but was it just on the long run that they didn't quite have it dialed in? Brock Gilchrist is now only a couple of car lengths behind, but only has 1 lap to try and make his move. 1 more lap to go at the Mandalika International Circuit. Marcus Amand at the front of the field has led every single lap of the weekend so far. And this is the kind of statement that you want to make when you head out to a championship to compete just 1 round. You don't just want to compete, you want to dominate. It's going to lead to a very interesting final race of the weekend. I believe it means that the championship will head into the next race, both in the Endurance Cup and the overall point standings for our pro class. I think Bao Junlong might have done enough to win the Endurance Cup, but I'll get some confirmation on that as I work through the numbers in our post-race. Just a couple more braking zones left though up front for the Flying Finn. A pole position to victory yesterday that saw him tested in traffic. Today tested by Dylan Pereira. But he did not brake. Instead, he caused the championship-elect driver to find some issues. Out of the final corner, 2 for 2 here at the Mandalika International Circuit. It's Marcus Amand that gets it done. Enzo Trulli in second, Hugo Ellis third, and then Dylan Pereira holding on to fourth. Behind them, still waiting for Bao Jinlong to come across the line as your Pro-Am winner here after yesterday's race unfortunately did not go his way. Bao Jinlong has corrected that mistake. Henry Kwong holds on over Eric Kwong as they run right now. And coming to the line, look how close it was between them. 4/10 between the brothers. And the championship will narrow back up once again between the two of them. Dylan Yip will end up behind these drivers on his recovery through the field. And it's going to be a bit of a wait, I think, before we'll get to see Adrian De Silva, who moves from 4th to 1st in class and will grab the win in that Masters category. Here he comes in the EBM number 61. Just the right-hander and then the left to go for the Malaysian. And after a bit of a drought of victory, the last time he was on the top step of the podium, back in Sepang, he gets it done here in Mandalika. So looking forward to our podiums coming up and our drivers being able to celebrate slightly, although maybe not indulge too much, knowing that they've got another race left to come after this. I'm sure the priority might also be to keep the suit away from that champagne if possible. Marcus Amand with another wonderful drive. A track that I'm sure he didn't have much experience of coming into the weekend. Very much would have had to start diving into some footage, maybe try and find it on some sort of a sim platform out there to try and get some laps under his belt. But whatever he has done, it's working a treat. We'll jump out of the number 9 Team Better Life machine and celebrate another victory in the Porsche Carrera Cup Asia. Looking relatively cool and calm given the race and what just unfolded. Enzo Trilli, I think, there as well, jumping out of the car. Here's a look, though, at our unofficial race results. A 3-second margin between Marcus Amand, your race winner, from Enzo Trilli in the Toro Racing number 99, who will build up his buffer to Hugo Ellis in the fight for second in the championship. Dylan Pereira drops to 4th in the closing stages of the race, but in front of Brock Gilchrist, and still has a chance to wrap up the championship here this weekend. Rodrigo Diaz-Almeida 6th, Josh Rowledge in 7th, and then Dylan O'Keefe in 8th position. Bao Jinlong, your Pro-Am winner, with Henry Kwong holding off Eric Kwong through those final quarters after his daring move coming into the final lap of the race. That was the move that saw him win in the AM class, with Dylan Yip recovering to 12th, Francis Chia in 13th, the second of our Pro-Am drivers. Then Yen Chuang Hubo in front of Adrian De Silva, winning once again in the Masters class. Christian Chia, John Shen, and Jackie Wu in front of Roy Tang and Oscar Target. DNFs, and hopefully for Oscar Target, not a mechanical issue that will preclude him from taking part in the third and final race of the weekend. We knew that with the fresh faces that things were going to be interesting. Let's go down and catch up with Steve Dawson to see what the action's been like for the drivers.
Another brilliant drive from Marcus Amand. Marcus, pole win yesterday, pole win today. You must feel on top of the world.
Yeah, very, very happy. Same as race 1, wasn't easy. You know, having a Super Cup champion behind you is putting a bit of pressure, but yeah, I managed to keep control and finish first, so I'm very happy.
Am I right, you're 19 years old?
Yes, I am, yeah.
And you've got the now confirmed championship leader. You've held him off in 2 races already. I mean, you know, what does the world hold for you? You must be feel as if the world's at your feet right now.
Just very, very happy. I think I've done a good job this weekend, so hopefully I can continue this afternoon and win 3 races. That would be wonderful. But yeah, very happy.
We look forward to seeing your progress later on today. Well done.
Thank you very much.
Gotta love the attitude. Hopefully he can get it done in the 3rd race. And he does point out a good point that, you know, Dylan Pereira with his Porsche Super Cup Championship has beaten the best of the best in this car. So that's got to be a mental boost as well for the driver leading the Porsche Carrera Cup France standings. And we'll look to wrap up that championship, I'm sure, in 2025. Only a couple of rounds left for them. I think 4 races left after this, and they will wrap their season up at the Circuit Paul Ricard. So before that, he's still got one more race with us before we let him go back to race around Europe. Let's go down once again to Steve Dawson standing by with our Pro-Am winner, Bao Jinlong.
Double joy for car number 7, Bao Jinlong, not only the winner here in our 2nd race today, but now confirmed as the drivers' champion among the Pro-Ams for the season. How are you feeling?
Good.
Is it tough out there, or I mean, you're perspiring a little bit?
Oh yes, I just drive by myself and just testing my new driver style. Learn. But this time, yes, I have the track limit, but I didn't have the penalty. It's good start.
Yeah, you had a lot of clean air in front of you, but just wrap up this season for us. You've finished on top of the table, better than all of the other Pro-Am drivers. You must once again feel very proud of yourself.
So first, not so many Pro-Am driver in my class this year, and I just want to do more against with pro driver. But this year, I'm so busy with my work, and I do not have enough time for practice. I think about the racing car. So I think I'm slower than before.
I know we'll see you in Singapore. Do you think we'll see you next year?
Maybe 60%.
Okay. We look forward to that. I hope so. Well done.
Thank you.
Another championship confirmed from Steve Dawson. I trust his math more than mine, that is for sure. So 60% chance that Bao Jinlong returns. You've got to understand, right, that commitment to coming and racing, it takes a lot of focus, and so yeah, you can understand if there's other things that Bao Jinlong has got to spend his energy on. Has spent so many years as a great part of the Porsche Carrera Cup Asia, and so fingers crossed, it is more than 60% chance that we'll see him again in a brand new Cup car. That's also maybe going to be a bit more time to get to grips with, so very much understand. It's a high level of competition. He wants to fight with the pro drivers. Back down to Steve Dawson as he continues to work his way through our winners.
Dylan Pereira confirmed as champion for 2025 in the overall category. I don't know, mixed feelings, because you were doing so well challenging for the lead today, and then you maybe a little error dropped off. Just take us through that first of all.
Yeah, I think I try, let's say. I'm here for winning, so I'm not, like I said, on the grid, so if I have an opportunity, I will try. Unfortunately, the track is really slippery on the outside of the line, and I locked the rear tires when I braked, so I just went wide. But at the end, I tried, so if I would not try for a gap, I would never be a racing driver, so at least I tried, and what makes me most happy is that we find the solution of the car. So we worked quite late yesterday, and we were really going detailed over the car, and we find what was the problem, so that makes me really happy. So we could fight for the lead, so that's the most important. I think now we see what we can do for race 3. Now I'm free, I'm already champion, and hopefully I can just go and enjoy.
Yeah, a racing driver through and through, and the bigger picture, as you say, is that you are now confirmed as champion. Overall feelings about the season that you've had and the achievement that you've managed to pull in?
Yeah, complicated one, so never an easy one, even if it looks sometimes like that. It's really hard work. I think the team did a really nice job preparing the car like it should be. Also really finding solution, like for this race, for example, like he had issues trying to find a solution. So, and also sometimes I didn't drove free practice because we had issues on the car, but we still make it to qualify and put it on pole. So just amazing what the team was working this year, and really happy that I could win the championship with the Phantom Global Racing.
Many congratulations. Well done.
Thank you so much.
You can see him. He looks like a weight's being lifted off his shoulders now. Not just, I think, that the championship's wrapped up, but they've figured out that problem with the car. He goes over, he celebrates with the team, and I'm sure this will be a championship he is very, very delighted to relish in the success. Congratulations, Dylan Pereira, champion of the 2025 Porsche Carrera Cup Asia. Well, it does leave us with a couple of championships left to still sort out, so let's not forget, in both our AM and Masters class, it will likely go down to the wire. Let's go down to our AM winner, though, who's standing by with our own Steve Dawson.
Real drama among the amateur drivers. Henry Kwong overtaking his brother, I think, on lap 15 and taking the win. How are you feeling?
Well, I feel amazing because in this track is all high speed, not much space to take over. But I got to close up and take my chances, and I got the place I want. Yeah.
And the timing was perfect right at the end of the race. But were you telling me just a few moments ago that somebody told you there was like 5 or 6 laps you had to defend your lead?
Yes. Well, luckily, when I see the checker flag like 1 or 2 laps after I pass. But when I pass through the finish line or start line, then see the lap time left, but maybe I mixed up a little bit. But it's a good ending. I'm happy.
Still lots of brotherly love between you and Eric?
Well, of course, it's a clean pass. Yeah, no, everybody go home safe. That's the ultimate goal. Yeah.
Brilliant. Congratulations.
Thank you.
It was a great pass. Yes, he locked up the tire, but I think knowing he was at the end of the race, it wasn't such a big problem. But he didn't know he was towards the end of the race, it sounds like. So took the risk, and a risk that in 2026 is not going to be such a factor with the new generation Cup car having ABS, anti-lock braking, across of all championships as I've understood it. So slightly different driving style, maybe attack the brake pedals slightly more and use the system if you trust it. Let's go down and catch up with Adrian De Silva after moving his way from the back to the front of the Masters class.
I'm with Adrian De Silva, winner in our Masters category early this Sunday morning. Great drive, Adrian. You were at the back among the Masters. How did you weave your way through?
A lot of work, tough work, trust me. A good start helped, so I managed to get ahead of Jackie Wu by turn 1. But following John is not easy, so I had a couple of good laps with John. Finally managed to overtake him, and then it was Christian. So quite a number of laps with Christian. Yeah,
it's always a combination of driver and car, but in order to overtake your colleagues there in the Masters category, you must have a good car beneath your seat there.
Definitely. The car this race, I won't say this whole weekend, but this race is just perfect, starting from yesterday. The engineer did some tweaks, and after every race I remind him, don't touch it again.
So lots of overnight work. You've got a big race coming up later on today, the endurance race. Car still in good shape for that?
Yes, car still in good shape.
And Adrian De Silva in good shape?
We'll see after lunch. Yeah, I should be.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Let's take a look at some of the highlights from the second race of the weekend at the Porsche Carrera Cup Asia. It was a decent launch at the front of the field, but Roy Tang and Jackie Wu came to blows slightly further back in the field and had to fight their way through the remainder of the race. Close action throughout the Masters class also involved Dylan Yip having to fight his way back through the field after he made a slip up and dropped to the back on lap number 2. Rodrigo Diaz Almeida fought with Oscar Target, all behind Brock Gilchrist, until unfortunately Oscar was forced to pit lane with a mechanical issue. The fight between the Masters drivers saw Christian Chia feel the pressure from Adrian De Silva, and then finally the move happened and De Silva made his way on forward. Roy Tang made his way out of the way as the leaders made their way through. A bit of a bobble on the curb for him, slightly uncomfortably there, as traffic played its part at the very front of the field. But did not perturb Marcus Amon this time around, who led once again from lights to flag. And now you see the paddock has moved its way over to the podium ceremonies, and we will get ready to celebrate. A look at the team, already with their shirts on, celebrating the championship, it would seem. Able to quickly throw on the trophy onto the back of the shirt. Again, remember, an Endurance Cup race means 45 minutes of racing for these drivers later on today, and that will be in the heat of the afternoon. This race in the morning, relatively cool conditions in terms of cockpit temperatures. It's only going to end up being warmer and warmer from here. Some of the cars sitting in the shade, some of the cars going to be heating up at this point. And you can see the signs on the windshield. The car's now in parc fermé. No touching the machines until, I'm guessing, we get ready for the final race of the weekend. 2 more races after that on the streets of Singapore. That will be in the month of October, so a bit of a wait for these drivers before they get to go racing again. And the 2026 calendar already having been announced. An exciting schedule for the drivers that will not only see the return of some familiar faces, but we'll get to all of that in just a few moments' time. Let's go down to Sammy with our podiums. Well, I think we'll get to the podiums in just a bit of time, but let's get to the calendar that I was just about to talk about. We'll start with a test day at the Zhuhai International Circuit. We'll return there in April for rounds 3 and 4, but Shanghai, Fuji, Singapore, and Bongsen. Let's go back down, though, to the podium, catch up with Sammy.
Second place, we have driver number 99, Enzo Trulli from Toro Racing. And the winner is driver number 9, Marcus Amon from Team Better Life. The trophy winner is Team Better Life. And may I now invite Mr. Alexander Riedel, the Senior General Manager of Porsche Indonesia, to please present the winner trophy together with the check to the winner. And to also please present the dealer trophy. And next we would like to invite Ms. Boya Chi, the Senior Manager of One Mix Series Porsche Motorsports Asia Pacific, to present the second place trophy and the check. And next up, may I invite Mr. Ben Ma, the Michelin Motorsports Asia Pacific Director, to present the third place trophy together with the check. And let's take a group photo together. Okay, everyone, break smiles, pose for the cameras. Ready, 1, 2, 3. Thank you. So we are not opening the champagne yet, but we will collect the checks. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to invite the winners for the Pro-Am class. On second place, we have driver number 21, Francis Chia from Open Road Racing. And the winner is driver number 7, Bao Jinlong from VWT Phantom Global Racing. May I invite Mr. Alexander Riedel to now present the winner trophy to the winner of the Pro-Am class. And now I would like to invite Ms. Boya Chi to present the second place trophy. Now may I invite the two winners for Pro-Am class to join the winners on the podium. Let's take another group photo with everybody. Okay, everybody, big smiles. Pose for the camera in front of you. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Congratulations again. Thank you so much, award presenters. We have 5 champagnes to celebrate. Congratulations again to our winners for the overall class and Pro-Am class.
Well, our Pro-Am and Pro podiums combined to give us a bit of fun and a bit of joy. Still got our Am and Masters podiums to get to as well, so don't go anywhere just yet, but we have that coming up just now. Let's go back down to Sammy.
Number 27, Yan Zhuang from Phantom Global Racing. Second place, we have driver number 23, Eric Wong from Bergwerk Motorsport. And the winner, driver number 91, Henry Kwong from Triple Ace Racing. Woo! May I now invite Mr. Alexander Riedel to present the winner trophy for the winner for the M class. May I now invite Ms. Boya Chi to present the second place trophy. And next, I would like to invite Mr. Ben Ma to present the third place trophy. May I invite our award presenters to join our winners for a group photo, please? Okay, everyone, big smile, thumbs up, ready, 1, 2, 3. Thank you to our award presenters. It is time for some celebration.
They've had a fun fight all weekend long in the AM class, so looking forward to the final race of the weekend with a bit more time on the clock to see who is able to endure the heat and achieve victory out on track. Back down to Sammy, one final podium.
Masters class. On third place, we have driver number 16, John Shen from Modena Motorsports. Woo! Second place, we have driver number 88, Christian Chia from Open Road Racing. And the winner, driver number 61, Adrian De Silva from EBM. May I invite Mr. Alexander Riddle to please present the winner trophy to our winner. And next I would like to invite Ms. Boya Chi to please present the second place trophy. Last but not least, to invite Mr. Ben Ma to present the third place trophy. And I would like to invite the award presenters to please join the winners for another group photo. Big smile, thumbs up, ready, 1, 2, 3! Thank you again to our award presenters. Let's have another round of celebration.
We will be back in about 3 hours' time for the third and final race of the weekend. Thank you so much for your company here from the Mandalika International Circuit. Endurance racing action to come here live on the Porsche Asia Pacific channels. Arjuna Kankipati will be back for all the action. Can't wait for all of it. Marcus Aman looking to make it 3 race victories on the bounce. We'll see you then.